What's the answer?
I don't know. 64.
Okay, we're subtracting.
Oh.
So the first thing we do is change it. Exactly. So what do we change it to? Minus and minus, right? Okay, so what am I going to get? -4. 3 minus 7. 2i minus 4i is... And there's the answer.
Oh, that's easy.
That is easy.
Easy class. Now you gotta simplify.
Nope, we don't change the i's. The i's are the i's. Okay, what? We're not multiplying. We're just adding.
So if we're just adding, the I doesn't change like
Nope,
negative.
just like an x. Doesn't change.
Okay.
Pass them up.
Now are we supposed to do it?
Yeah, just write the answer. And you didn't miss it, so it's good. I didn't get the papers to him.
Hey, do we get a treat since all of us got
No Lexi, right, today?
Right.
Okay, just checking. Hey, did you get your license yet?
No.
Still no? Oh. She won't let you miss school now, huh? She didn't answer. That means that's an answer.
It was just her permit she was trying to get, so she
She
can get
what?
that. It was her permit she's trying to get. It was her permit, not her license.
Oh, so does she have a permit?
No.
Oh,
So that's what
and
she's
now she
trying
won't
to
let
get.
her miss school again? Is that the deal?
Well, no, but it's not. She doesn't turn 16 for some time, so she doesn't need to have it right now. I mean,
Oh, so
she wants it, but she doesn't have to have it right yet, right,
I
Kayla?
get it. So she's making you wait.
No, we
She
just
doesn't
got
realize
stuff
that
to
means
do.
she can let you drive to the store. Oh, wait, that's a long way.
Most everybody does it anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
It's amazing how many people are driving around without a license.
Yeah. Okay. So, next thing I have for you. Oh, this is not staying on today. It's going to cause me major stress. Okay. So, next thing I have for you. I didn't bring it down. Oh, I did. We're going to go quickly review. Maybe I didn't bring it down. Michelle, do you want to run again? Yeah. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to quickly, while she's gone getting my packet, I'm going to quickly give you an overview of what happened on Friday. You ready? This is what happened. On Friday, I said, here's a new number. Here's my problem. Find the answer. And everybody went, can't do it. How come you can't do it? Can't take the square root of a negative. Well, because life is what it is, we always have to find something new, so we found something new. Okay? So if you think back to when you were in kindergarten, before you were in kindergarten, you learned how to count. And you picked up blocks and you put 1, 2, 3, right? And you learned to count. And then somebody said, well, what if you don't have any? And you didn't know what that was, and somebody told you, oh, well, that's just a 0. So they gave you a new number, and you were fine with that. And then you got into first grade, and they said something about, or second grade, and they said something about 1. You said 0, 1, 2, 3. And they said, well, what if you don't have a whole one? Maybe it's only part of 1. And you came up with fractions, right? And everything was okay. You don't love them, but you get them. You know what they are. If I say 1/2, you know exactly what that means. And so they gave you a new number. So today Friday, I gave you a new number. And the new number was this.
We didn't even get to 4th grade.
Well, we didn't need to go to 4th grade. Here's our new number, I, and it's equal to the square root of -1. That's it. That's our new number. So when I went over to do this problem, I went like this. -1 times 36, which is 6 and 6, right? This came out, and we had the square root of -1, right?
Never mind.
Well, the square root of -1 is just I, and so that was my answer. Okay? So when I give you some problem like this, square root of -14, say. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is that's negative, so I'm going to make it positive and put an I out there.
Wait, what?
Wait, I have a question though.
Yeah.
Could you like make it so that it's not a negative on the inside and just put 14i on the inside of the square root?
You don't want the I to be, the I is the square root of -1, not -1.
Oh.
So I have to take the square root, which brings it out. Okay. 14, does it break down? No. So my answer is I square roots of 14. That's it. We're done. Not a big deal.
So you could have done put the I on the outside on 36.
Yeah. So if I did square root of -36, I could have gone I. What's the square root of 36? 6 is 6. What comes out? 6i. Same thing.
Yeah, that
way
one,
is much.
that one looks
Okay,
easier.
okay. So if I give you this problem, square root of -72, what are you going to get? What are you going to do first? Take the I out.
So then it would be
What is 72? I'll help you. 9 and 8.
9 can simplify down into 3, 3, and 8 is 4 and 2, and then 2 and 2.
Okay, so now what?
3 comes out, a 2 comes out, and then you get 6i squared root of 2.
There you go. And that's how you do it.
I just did it.
All right. So we did all that. That was the first part. And it kind of probably went long. I did that a couple years ago, that video, so I don't even remember what it was. But what? I know. That always gets you going, so you guys think you don't know what you're doing too. Here's the next one. 4i squared. What happens when I do this? It's 4i times 4i, right? Which is 16i squared, right? That's not too bad. But let's go back here. What is I?
Negative square root of negative 1.
I is the square root of -1. So if I square both sides, what's going to happen? I squared is -1.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it I squared is -1?
Mm-hmm. Because the square root and the squared cancel. And so I squared is -1. So if I know that, then this is what? 16 times -1, which is -16. And that's my answer. Okay, that was Friday. And we also added and subtracted. And adding and subtracting was like this one, right? You just add the like terms, and it wasn't too bad. Are we all good so far?
Yes.
Questions from Friday's assignment, which was, I told you to do all of this page, right? The 4, 7, 31 through 42, and then I told you to do 1 through 18 over here. Okay, questions?
Can we just do a couple problems?
Absolutely, which ones?
Let's do 11.
11. So this one. Okay, go. What do I do first?
We would combine like terms.
It's a minus, so what do I want to do first?
Change the sign.
Change the sign. So this is a negative and this is a positive. And then add like terms. Hutch, watch, you're going to be lost.
So you would get
5. What's like with 5?
-2,
Which is
3,
3.
and then
3i
5i.
and 2i is 5i. That's the answer. Yes.
Number 11.
13. 13. Okay, here we go. 13. Ooh. Ooh. They made this one ugly. What's the square root of -64? So what do I do? First thing I do is what? It's negative. So take the I out. What's the square root of 64? 8 and 8, right? So I got 6 minus 8i. Okay. Plus, this is 12. What about the square root of -81? What do I do with that? It's negative, so I do
Change the sign and put the I out, and then it's 9 and 9.
9 and 9. So what happens?
Be 9.
Plus 9i. Now I'm to here. Adding like terms, I get 6 plus 12 is 6 plus 12 is 24. 18. Negative 8 plus 9 is
Negative I. Negative 1I. Negative I.
Why didn't it just be one eye?
and that's my answer.
What?
It's not negative.
Oh.
9 is bigger than 8.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, you did. Okay, so that's what we did on Friday. We added, subtracted, and we learned what I was. Maddie. 4.6. Because it's due and I haven't finished it. Right? We didn't take any questions either because she didn't do any for you, did she? Okay, let's take questions from 4.6. Go ahead, which one, Maddie? 11. Here goes. Number 11. What are we going to do?
Pretty sure I got with mine. So times 3
Ta-
squared is
I don't want to take the 3 because it's already out.
right. So what did it be?
10 square roots of x, y cubed. Right?
Yeah.
On the top, what do I get? 10 times 15. 150. How many x's? 2. How many y's? On the bottom, I have 3 times. What happens on the bottom? 10xy cubed, right? Because we have 2 of them, right? 1 dies, 1 comes out. All right. So on the top, simplify it. Oh, it's 150. 15 times 10, right? Which is 3 and 5. And 5 and 2. What comes out?
5.
So I have 5. 6 is on the inside. What about the x's? X comes out. What about the y's? Y squared comes out. On the bottom I have 30 xy cubed, right? Are we good?
Can't we simplify?
Well, of course, but are we good to here? Yeah. What goes into 50 and 30? 5. So divide them both by 5 and I get what? 1 over 6.
What did you say?
5 and 30.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay, what about the x's?
When they cancel.
They cancel. What about the y's? 1 y on the bottom, and I still have the square root of 6 on the top, and there's my answer.
Okay, so I was almost there.
So if we didn't simplify it and we submitted it, would we get those wrong?
Just resubmit it. You're fine.
I don't know how many times we've been seeing
Till the due date. I mean, we can't redo any of them past. All right. So, any others? No. Okay, good. Today we are going to do some multiplying of imaginary numbers. So, here goes. Now, because we are, it's okay. So here we go. We're going to multiply some imaginary numbers. Here we go, right here. We're going to start with this number We're going to start with this number 9 one right here. Okay? So here goes. Now I want you to know, you guys know how to do this. If you think about it, you really know how to do this. Because if I gave you this problem and those were x's, could you do it? If this was x times 2 plus x, what would you do? You just distribute. You get 2x plus x squared, right? So let's do this one. I'm going to get what? 2i plus I squared. The only trick is I need to remember that I squared is equal to what? -1. So it's 2i minus 1. And there's my answer. Not bad, right? Okay, so let's go to the next one. We know how to do this one. We get what? -3. Positive 6i. 7i
and then minus 14.
squared. Why is it I squared? Because there's two i's. Remind me, what is I squared? So if I just cross this out and change this to a plus, I can do that, right?
Okay.
I squared is what? Titan. Do you remember? I squared is equal to -1 every time. Okay? So if I go 14, negative 14 times I squared. I squared is equal to what? So I have negative 14 times -1, which is what? That's what I did right here. I just did I squared, cross it out, change the sign. Because it's going to happen every time, right? What if I have 7i squared? What does that become? What is I? Yeah, it's -7. I just cross it out, change the sign. I have my answer. Anytime there's an I squared, cross it out, change the sign. Easy enough, right? Okay, so here we go. Are we done? Yeah? Don't we have any like terms? 7 plus 6 is what? 13i. And -3 and 14 is? 11 plus 13i. There's my answer. I'm done.
I feel like this seemed a lot harder.
Okay, how about this one? 3 minus 2i squared. What does it mean if it's squared?
Times by itself.
So that means write it down twice, right? Okay, Peyton, don't do it out loud this time. Everybody try it. You're fine. I just want them to do it. You don't have it.
I bet you do. He's just. This way, the other way. We got one more bubble. This is right there. One more. Right there. Do I have it? Yeah, it's right there, big guy. It's the back of the 4.9.
Because it is. Okay, we're right here. Emma, what'd you get? Okay, start. Here we go. 3 times 3.
9.
3 times -2.
-6.
I, right?
-6i.
Good.
Positive 4i squared.
Very good. Now, what's the first thing we do?
Change the sign.
Cross this out and change the sign, right? Like terms? 9 and -4 is?
No, wait, never mind. That's not it.
5, right? -6 and -6?
-12.
There's my answer. So it's not bad, right? Really, it's probably easier than a lot of things we've done previously. So turn the page. And we're going to do some dividing. Okay, now, if you can multiply, you can divide. Because here's the catch. Normally, if I had something like this, I would leave it like that. But they said, remember the rule that I told you about Wednesday of last week? And we had a square root in the denominator. We couldn't leave it there, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was Thursday.
Is that the
Well,
same thing?
I is the square root, isn't it? So I can't leave it there. Do you remember what we did?
Something more.
Times by the conjugate. That's what we did. So we're going to times by the conjugate. Does anybody remember what the conjugate of 3 minus 4i is?
3 minus 4i.
Close.
8 plus
3 plus 4i. Remember I changed the middle sign?
And that's all you do.
And if I do it to the bottom, what do I have to do to the top? Same thing. So really, dividing is really just multiplying, right? So here we go. Tighten. Do the top.
8 times 3, 24. 8 times 4i, 32i.
Is your button on?
7 times 3, 21i.
Oops, 21. Okay.
And then 28i squared.
Right? What's the first?
I couldn't see that I. Yeah.
I and I. So I squared. What's the first thing I'm going to do here?
Cross it out. Negative 28.
Negative 28. Okay. Bottom. Hutch, do the bottom.
9 and 12i.
You left the mic on, didn't you?
I bet it can. Oh, it's on.
It's okay. Keep going.
12 negative 12i and negative 16i squared.
And the first thing we're going to do.
Cross it out and change the sign.
Okay. We're ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on the top, I've got 24 minus 28 is negative 4. And 32 plus 21. 53i, right? Are we okay with that? On the bottom, I have 9 and 16. And negative 12 and positive 12. And there's our answer. And we're done. It's going to take a minute, but it's not awful, right? Yes.
So when you bought the, what is it called when you do the opposite?
Conjugate.
Okay, so you only do it for the bottom one?
You take it from the bottom, change the sign in the middle only. Okay, let's do another one. Here we go. Let's do 19. What am I going to times by? Negative I. Minus 5. Good. Negative I minus 5. You ready? Okay, Andrew. You got the first one.
2i. Negative 2i.
Is your mic on?
No.
Turn your mic on. Thank you. Keep going.
Negative 10. That would be 3i squared. That would be negative 15i.
And the first thing we do?
Oh yeah, the square root to make it positive 3.
There we go. On the bottom. Macy.
Positive I squared. And then 5i. And 5i, negative 5i. And then negative 5.
Close. Negative 25, right? And the first thing I do? Turn that to negative 1. Okay, from there. Michaela. Top. Like terms.
Negative 17i. Minus 7.
Good. Bottom. Macy.
Oh, negative 1 and 25. Negative 26.
And what happens with these two? And that's our answer. Now, you guys, if they're all negatives like that, if you want to, you could change them to all positives like that. Because you took a negative 1 out of the top and the bottom. But it doesn't matter. If you left it this way, I would give you full points. So either answer will work. Okay? So we should give you some time to work, right? So you guys did 4-7 back. You did 4-8 through 18. Today I want you to do 4.9. This multiplying and dividing complex numbers. I want you to do all 18. And that's it. 4.9 right here. We're not going to do it. 4.9 right here. We're multiplying and dividing 1 through 18. That's it. That's all you have to do today. We did 4.8 the front half. We're not doing the back half. We're just doing this right here. You could cross it out forever. Because look at the next section. The next section says review.
Oh no.
So we review tomorrow. Test is on Wednesday.
Oh, no.
So 1 through 18. That's what you're doing.
Do you want what we're doing today? Do you want the note? Oh, okay.